Alright, welcome back. Looks like the login screen appeared, and we're going to log in with the default username and password, which is root default. Same as all the other physical appliances. So the first thing we're going to want to do is configure the management IP, and there's a couple ways to go about this. You could either go into TeamSH if you like, or run this little utility called config, which you may have seen before. And all that does is give it a management IP, so I'm going to hit OK. And you can use DHCP if you have that set up. For this demonstration, I was given a static IP that we're going to go in and use. And no, we're not going to use DHCP. We're going to use 172.24.34.129. Hit tab. Okay, it's a tab-given menu. And okay, that looks good. That looks good as well. And that looks good as well. Tab, okay. Yes, accept. Excellent. Alright, so let's just confirm that gave us the IP we wanted. Alright, that looks good. So from now we should be able to connect to this virtual host externally. So let me try to log on to my desktop here. There you go. Root default. Alright. There you go. Now it should be ready to do an initial config. And from here, you could ideally have some automation tools that can run through all this for you. You can license it and add self-IPs, VLANs, all that information is readily available on our Dev Central site. On the iControl wiki homepage, and here's a bunch of code that's already pre-made for you. And then, otherwise, you can run through the GUI, which the solution recommends. So let's try that. And that way you can run through a nice little wizard. And if the management network is able to reach the internet, you can just put in your reg key and it'll go off and licensing it. But since this box is a little bit isolated, we're going to do it via the command line just for fun. And the way to first license it is using a little utility called dossier. And once again, this is all outlined in some solutions on ASCII5. Here, there's one for 9x, for 10x, and 11x, and this is 11x, so we're just going to run through most of this. So, if you didn't catch it all, feel free to go to ASCII5 and look that solution up. And I have some reg keys all set for me. I'll use that first one. And there's a little wraparound, so make sure you don't get anything extra you don't need. And now we'll go to the license server. And that's license.f5.com. Activate license. Let's see if I can paste that in. Accept the EULA. Hopefully it'll spin out a license for us. Excellent. Alright. Select all, copy, and make sure you're in the config directory. And you can either upload this via WinSCP or however you like. I'm just going to edit the file directly. Just create a file. Hit I for insert. Right click to paste that guy in. Make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom, right past the signature. That looks good. Hit escape. Colon, right quit. Exclamation point, save. And now, I believe the solution says something about restarting TMS, or restart. There's also another little trick. You can just use a command called reload license. and that will actually load the license into the memory and activate the unit. There you go. Okay, and feel free to stick around. We'll do a little initial config, and just for the purposes of troubleshooting and demonstration. So we'll go into TUSH, and sorry, thank you for your patience. I'm just going to do a quick, a couple of modifications for my own sanity. So first I'm going to create a host name. And then MOXP. Alright. And then there's one more command that I'm going to set up that's actually mentioned in the solution as well. It's called modify setup.run value false. And what that does is it makes it so the next time you go to the GUI, it doesn't force you to run through the wizard. Okay. Some of you that have done this before, they may have noticed that on another virtual edition type, that if you look at the interfaces, they're not initialized. So let's, for example, you'll see that they're uninitialized. Of course, the management knows because we're connected to it, but as soon as you add a VLAN, the interfaces should light up. So let's do that. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna add a tag just for administration purposes. You don't really need to add a tag. It will add one for you by default. But just for my own organizational purposes, I'm gonna add one. And the virtual image itself, you use untagged VLANs, untagged interfaces. VLAN, and that's pretty much how it looks. There's just an interface, and they're actually untagged interfaces. That's just the marker for it. And if you now look at the interfaces, they should be all up. There you go, and they're receiving traffic. Now, for troubleshooting purposes, I'm going to create some self-IPs just to give us some tests. And I was given a couple addresses I'll work with. And don't forget the allow services if you're doing this via the command line to default so you can reach them. Okay. And one more for the external. And we'll go ahead and create a pool over here. Demo pool members. Add. Thank you for your patience here. Monitor, and finally just do a virtual. And that's it. And we'll save the config. Right, let's see, show LTM virtual, let's see if this guy came up. And yes, it's available, enabled. We go back to the GUI, you can also probably see this. Might need to go back to the start there. Okay, and virtual servers, up in green, looks good. Look at your unions, one interface each, untagged, and it all looks good. We can do some quick connectivity tests. All the virtuals are off, so that's a good indication, but you really can troubleshoot this like any typical physical device, obviously. Let's see, that's a client on the external network. That looks good. Client on the internal network. That looks good. If you accidentally mapped a VMware incorrectly, you can just TCP dump on the interfaces as normal. Might be able to see which network that you mapped it to. Same there. Otherwise, that's pretty much it.